Hello, hello, hello. It's time for the big show. It's a combo show. It's a Wednesday night game review with a radio twist. So there you go. Quick story off the top for anyone that might started watching us at 7 on Fridays or tune into the radio at 7 on Fridays. This Friday and next Friday, October 7th and October 14th, there are live debates, political debates, and they're going to be aired here. One of them is the gubernatorial one, and one of them is the state senator one with Ronnie Johnson and Mandela Barnes. Mandela met him. He's a decent dude. Ronnie Johnson, his track record speaks for himself. And the other one is with the current governor, Tony Evers, decent dude. And Tim Michaels, some guy who I watched run against Russ Feingold in 2004 and get laughed out of the gym. He's running for governor now. So that's what's on Friday, the next 2 Fridays on our normal radio time slot. So what we're going to do is we're going to provide the radio our content. They'll play it at a different time. We will intermix that content the next 2 Wednesdays. So we'll still do game reviews, but we'll kind of do a radio show, including our new bits about the unsung hero of the game, which we call the silent but deadly player of the week, and the weekly beef. Hafeman Bros Weekly Beef. I stole the beef last week from Ben. I'm sorry. It's his beef this week. And that's what we're going to go with. So, first off, bro, we have thoughts from last week's game. Now, as we come in tonight and we look at last week's game, the Packers did it again. They won. They won again. They squeaked out. Squeaky, squeak. Last 2 games won by a total of 5 points, but a W is a W, right? And this one had to go to extra time, too.
Well, the thing that was interesting to me is after watching the game back again, it wasn't nearly as bad as everybody seems to think and talk that it is. Like, all I've heard is, and the other thing that's really weird is this: if Aaron Rodgers' 2 halves were flipped, if he started off hot and ended up bad, everybody would be talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
But instead, everybody's talking about the run defense for some unknown reason, because they're giving up a whole bunch of yards per carry. Well, okay, if Rodgers doesn't throw that pick 6, and if Kenny Clark doesn't have a penalty called on him after Reed and Preston get a sack together, it would have been 2nd and 16 from the 35-yard line. I'm thinking the Packers are pretty good there, but instead, because of Kenny Clark's penalty, it was 1st and 10 from the 50, which ended up leading to the delay of game touchdown that happened. So, I mean, really, the Packers defense only gave up 10 points. And if they would have had a big lead, they wouldn't have to worry about the run. So I don't know if it's a combination of, hey, the Packers defense sucks at run defense, or if it's just the Patriots put 6 offensive linemen in there and the Packers didn't come back that with putting more guys inside, but they didn't want to give up a big play to a team that really doesn't have big play capabilities. So I totally understand what Joe Barry was doing, and he's been getting ripped on all week from everybody under the sun, and I don't quite get it. I mean, take away the pick 6, Packers win convincingly. Take away the Kenny Clark penalty, Packers destroy them on defense, only give up 10 points. So I don't understand it. Let's just be cool, everybody. And, watching the game back, yeah, I mean, there's some issues, okay? I think Devondre Campbell is not getting off blocks at all.
What?
In the running game.
All-pro? Wasn't he all-pro, Devondre Campbell, last year?
Yeah, well, he's not playing that way. And he's doing some weird, I don't know what's going on with that.
Dean Lowry
got destroyed on a couple running plays. Like there's one play where I think he gets shoved 6 yards in the back, like 6 yards back. Now he gets double teamed.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, and how he kept his feet, I don't know. because I thought for sure I mean, if you get blown back 6 yards, it wasn't 6 feet, it was 6 yards. If you get blown 6 yards, you think you lose your feet, but he didn't. So I don't know. That's just from what I'm hearing from all the reporters. Everybody's talking about how the defense, the defense. Oh, what happened second half of the defense? Well, they gave up 14 points, and or not even. I don't even know what it was. Yeah, 14 points the second half. Or no, yeah, I don't even know.
Don't you
Whatever.
think people are so people are freaking out because it was a rookie third string quarterback that they end up playing against pretty much most of the game. So everybody's like, but that rookie third string quarterback, he's got some talent. The kid threw it all over the
Well,
joint in college, and he's and on top of that, the Patriots are committed to the run, and not many NFL teams commit to the run, but they do, and the Bears did. So that's part of the reason why they gave so many rushing yards against those teams, because those teams were like, we're running the ball and we're going to keep running the ball. And if you stick with it, a lot of times it works.
yeah. Well, Corey here is in the comments is saying Sean Gary is looking like the best player on D, and I mean he looked dominating. He dominated that right tackle when he went up against. I don't know who this right tackle is, but he blew past him with speed. He ran over him with power.
Don't forget Rasul.
Well, Douglas is my favorite player. I think he's the best overall player, but Gary is got more talent, I think, than Rasul Douglas has.
And just remember, neither one of those guys are captains, by the way.
Well, they're the two captains. They're the true captains of the defense. I mean, Kenny Clark, or I don't even know who was the captain.
Let's talk Kenny Clark.
Listen, just so you know, I watched the tape again. Kenny Clark was not as bad as I thought.
Really?
He actually did okay.
Because to me, it seemed like he got blocked the whole game. Like
it did seem that way, but after watching the all 22,
okay,
he got off blocks.
Did he make any tackles or any plays?
He made the first tackle of the game, I think, actually. But after that, no. But I mean, it wasn't like he was getting destroyed by one guy all the time. Like I thought that's what was happening because you didn't see him make any plays.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a pressure on the very last play of the game on defense, and that helped. I mean, so I'll give him credit. Usually, me, I was hard on Kenny Clark all last season.
Yeah.
So, and everybody's saying how great he is, and I don't think he's that great. I think he's good, but he had a solid game. He was better than Dean Lowry, and he's way better than TJ Slayton. TJ Slayton is the problem to me. TJ Slayton is the guy who he's supposed to be the Gilbert Brown. He's supposed to be the big guy who's immovable and is supposed to take on double teams and you know what I mean, and help out. And he's not doing that. And I know he's a second-year guy and all this kind of stuff. But when you're 360 pounds and your job is to just be a big fat dude who just takes on double teams and doesn't move, and he's not doing that. He's not even doing that.
No, and they put him like in run sets. They put him right in the middle. He's the nose, right? Because he's the biggest guy, or he'll be just off. Like he'll be in the one side of the center's shoulder. That guard center gap, and he's he gets pushed around a lot. So I don't see him doing what they need him to do. And I know there were other guys, let's even say in this preseason, that performed better than him, but they didn't make the team or aren't on the 53, and he is. So
yeah, I mean, Chris Slayton deserves to play over him. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. And Jaron Reed has been getting some people have been talking smack about him this week, which I don't understand. I watched the tape back, and there's times where he splits double teams and gets in the backfield off a double team. And maybe he doesn't make the tackle. And the problem is the other guys around him are getting creamed. So then it's a big run. Okay. But is he supposed to just sit there and take the double team and then not do anything? Because then it would still be a big run. Like part of him getting through the double team is that he's, making plays. Or or at least he's getting the backfield and messing stuff up. And he has been doing that. So I don't know. I was happy with him. To be honest, the guys who are looking kind of scary is Dean Lowry. I will say this. Dean Lowry has good pursuit when he's coming off the ball. Like if the play is on the other side, he always hustles to the play. So problem is sometimes he's so tall. I think they get underneath. He's 6'6", right? They get underneath him and they just, once somebody's underneath him in the running game, it's over. He can't do anything.
And he has a very long torso, which I know you would think, does that really matter? But it's even a bigger target for blockers, right? Because his
Yeah.
legs are short, his torso is that big, so it's easier to get underneath him because he's got such a long torso. So he's an interesting guy. Again, a guy that's solid, a guy that can be effective in a certain number of snaps. He's not a 80% down player, should never be that guy. But he's smart, he's heady, he can do some things. This game he had a rough game. I'm glad to hear Kenny Clark wasn't as bad as I thought watching the game. That's good to hear. I do want to go back to Corey's question. Corey, about Rashawn Gary. So does it make you are you kind of disappointed that we weren't able to see him in this capacity right out of the gate? Like, why they didn't just unleash him on the freaking NFL? And maybe he still had some stuff to learn and stuff to do, but he was drafted number 12. We had Zadarius Smith, so he played, and Gary got limited snaps that first year, and that kind of slowed him down and whatever. One thing about Gary that we didn't see from Zadarius Smith, except a couple times against the Packers, was on running plays that go away from him.
Yeah, he had a really
where
good
they leave
pursuit.
the end guy unblocked. He crashes hard. And I sent a message about that. I'm like, Gary crashes hard on those plays. So when he's unblocked, yes, you have outside contain. You're the end guy on the line. But if you recognize the ball's away from you, you can crash hard. And if the offense leaves that guy unblocked because basically they figure the timing of the play, the running back's going to get to the hole before that guy can actually pursue and get down the line and get to the running back. But Rashawn Gary's showing you, you might need to chip off before you go in the opposite direction, because he is pursuing hard, crashing hard, and making tackles in the backfield.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple plays like that, and also, Preston's not too bad at that either sometimes, but he's a little bit slower and he doesn't quite get there.
He doesn't necessarily crash quite as much. He's a little more make sure of my responsibility. He doesn't recognize it as quick, maybe. So,
and Corey's bringing up the Adrian Amos injury, which I have to be honest, I don't think Adrian Amos is really a box tackling safety. He never has been since he's been here. He's just a solid guy who's okay and he knows what's up, And after watching the film, I thought Rudy Ford made more plays than Adrian Amos usually makes in a game, to be quite honest. Rudy Ford was everywhere. He was all over the place. The only thing that sucked is he wasn't able to play special teams then, because they took him off the gunning responsibilities and they gave that to Jean Charles, and he didn't have the same effect that Rudy Ford has on the gunning plays, because Rudy Ford was forced to play every single down at strong safety then. So that's actually the problem with Amos getting hurt, was that Rudy Ford wasn't able to be our flyer or gunner or whatever on special teams, who I brought up last week as my, silent but deadly player of the game. It was Rudy Ford. And he came out and played great, I thought. So I don't think Amos going down was that big of a hairy deal. So that, as far as defense goes. Yeah. And watching back the film, it wasn't that terrible. The touchdown pass was a miscommunication, and it had something to do with I've got the video for later, but it's got something to do with Campbell and Nixon, where they kind of just didn't back up. They didn't back up far enough in their zones, and they're kind of both in the same spot, and neither of them were in any place to make a play. And I think one of those two is the guy who was in the wrong spot. I don't know who or what or when, but and then, it was wide open, and that's just the way it goes. We watched it against the Vikings a whole bunch. Mm-hmm. They play this zone defense, and then these teams do these crossing patterns, and, they just let a guy go. They just don't. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, there were a couple other things we'll talk about here in just a minute. We're kind of making this out to be what will be similar to our first radio segment. And so we'll talk about a couple of these things coming up, and we'll get to the silent but deadly player of the week. But a couple of things that stood out to me were I still liked seeing Quay Walker flying around, and I know you're going to showcase that here a little bit later. But he looks to be, I don't know, maybe it was, we had talked about this for a while, right? Like, we wanted this linebacker in this draft. We wanted Patrick Queen. We wanted this other guy. Maybe this is the guy. Maybe he was worth waiting for, because what I'm seeing out of him, I really like.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's better than Patrick Queen is now. I think he's better. And let's face it, the Bushes, both those two guys, the same year Gary was drafted, Devin Bush and oh no, not the Bushes, Devin White and Devin Bush.
Yeah.
Devin White is pretty good. Okay,
Yeah.
with Tampa Bay. Okay, maybe we could have got him. That would have been nice. But Devin Bush has kind of been like, not really all that great. And there's been a couple other linebackers. Every year there's a linebacker who Eckes wants, which is fine, and I usually agree. But obviously, it's I think Quay Walker is the first time where Goody picked a guy, and I was like, I don't know why, and I was totally wrong, like totally wrong from that spot in that day and that time. Maybe Jair, because I really wanted Derwin James.
I did too.
But whatever. I mean, I guess you know what? It's not the first time. He does it all the time. But there's always good players that you want. But this is the time where I would say, yeah, you're right. Like Quay Walker is a guy making plays, and I was telling you, I like what he does. Where there's something where he's a guy comes up to block him, and he bats his hands down a couple times, so he doesn't get any. Like it's just a simple thing, but it's really smart. Keep the opponent who's trying to block you at arm's length if you can. If you can't, keep their hands off of you so that you don't get stationary. Because unfortunately, Devondre Campbell at this point is getting blocked. Guys are getting their hands on him, and he's not getting off the block.
Yep.
And Quay Walker is keeping himself open by either smashing hands down or being fast enough and quick enough to beat the blocker. Like the blocker's coming to get him, and he's like, "Nope, I'm around you. Sorry." So he's really good at keeping himself open. Sometimes he's not in the right place. But the better thing is that he's able to keep himself free to make the play. Where Campbell is sometimes in the right place, but he's blocked and he can't get off the block to make the play.
Yeah, he lets guys get their hands on him. He lets guys get to his body, and then he's basically shielded or blocked, and he's not doing much. So it's interesting. I felt even with as good as Campbell played last year, he was never that physical of a guy, right? And that lack of physicality is something that I thought might hurt him. Now you have these two fast, smaller guys, but he doesn't even look like he's using his speed to the best visibility or instincts or being, he's not being instinctive. He's getting blocked a lot, like you said, and that's a big issue.
Also, there was one play I can remember where him and Gary were on the same, like Gary came all the way across the field. The running back got the ball. They were both there, and they had the angle to the sideline, and the running back still beat him to the sideline and got another 3-4 yards. Like, and Campbell was further, he was like a good 4 or 5 yards ahead of Gary, closer to the sideline, and they were there before the running back. And he just didn't show any speed at all. Like he got beat by the running, and that running back, the Patriots running back is not like, neither of them are superstars. Like they're just
Right.
guys who get like they were pretty good, but they're not like super speed guys. They're just good backs. And they still beat Campbell to the sidelines when he had a good 5-yard head start to the sideline. It's just kind of, it's getting scary. He's not getting off blocks. His speed is not showing up. His coverage is not even that great sometimes. And also, he's the guy who's telling everybody where to go. And how many times do we watch the tape I've shown where he's still telling guys what to do and the ball's getting snapped? And he's like, oh, do that. And then Rasul Douglas is like, I don't know. He's on the other side. He's pointing. He's looking at telling everybody over here what to do. And then Rasul's stuck over here by himself. And he's like, and then Rasul just plays man coverage because he doesn't know what else to do because he never got the call. And that happened a lot in Tampa Bay. Not so much this last game.
Yeah.
But, we've been going on the defense for a long time. And I actually, like I said, I don't think that's the problem. Everybody.
Right. Oh, we got some other things that people think are the problem. There's some rumors this week, but Lee is here. Lee says Campbell had so many bad reads versus the run. We're going to make some of this our first radio segment. And so as we, on the other side, we're going to come back and we're going to do a quick little 10-seconder here for you. And when we come back, we'll talk more about the unsung hero of the game of the week. We call it something different. We're learning that here on Hafeman Bros. Be back right after one quick reminder. Hafeman Bros, Packer Outright Opinions. Tell me why Welcome back into our show, Packer Outright Opinions, with Hafeman Bros. Kind of the radio version tonight as we continue on. I do have something here now that we have to talk about. So we mentioned some things about the defense. We mentioned some things about other things before we get to the rest. And then we'll move on to finish up the show as we look ahead to the next opponent. But before we get to all that, we must get to the unsung hero of the game, which, of course, as we call it, it's a little bit different. And now we'll let you know. It's time for.
And now it's time for the Hafeman Bros silent but deadly player of the week.
We thank Keith Jackson for giving his vocal talents to. Wait, no, it doesn't work out. Never mind. That's me, but it's my best Keith Jackson I could do. All right. So what do we got here, Ben? Silent but deadly player of the game. Last time you went first. This time I will go first.
All right.
And it's a guy we talked about very briefly, but a guy that I really like what he's doing. I like how he's showing, and that's number 90. Not Jaron Reed, like a lot of people said early on. It's Jaron Reed. And Jaron rhymes with Darren, is doing pretty well. He's splitting double teams. He's making penetration on plays when he can. He's beating one-on-ones. He's a force, I think, against the pass. He's getting push. He's pushing the pocket pretty regularly. And I like the way he's playing. He's a great addition. I like what he's doing from his opportunities and also his spot on the field. And the other thing he does for a big guy is he pursues. He pursues, and it's helped him make some plays. It's also helped to cut back lanes for running backs at times to shield him in. So even though people are upset and saying the run defense is so bad, well, it ain't because of him. Number 90 is doing pretty damn good most of the time. Jaron Reed, my silent but deadly player of the game.
And he got a sack taken away from him because Kenny Clark's dumb penalty.
That's right. Ooh.
So that sucks for him. All right. Well, my silent but deadly player of the game is he wasn't very silent. He had probably the most flashy play of the game, to be quite honest. But I'm calling him the silent, deadly player of the game because of what he did when he wasn't in that play. Because watching the film back, I saw a guy who, I hate to say this. I love Allen Lazard. A lot of people say Allen Lazard is the best blocking wide receiver and the Packers have, and he was one of the best blocking receivers in the NFL. I think the Packers actually have a better blocking receiver on their team right now, and he's number 9. Christian Watson, when he blocks a guy, he stays blocking that guy. That guy don't get off the block. He doesn't get beat. And that's my silent but deadly player of the game because he had a couple really good blocks on long Aaron Jones runs to the outside. And then, of course, he also had his huge, awesome speed end around for the touchdown. And they tried that again later on, but the defense of the Patriots, like, yeah, we're not falling for this again. We're not letting him, get scot-free like that one more time. We're keeping our eyes on this guy after that touchdown. So my silent player of the game, Christian Watson. I think nobody's talking about him because, Dobbs is getting all the pub because he's getting all the catches and all this kind of stuff. And Allen Lazard had a great game, by the way. I think Allen Lazard had an awesome game. Randall Cobb has been killing it on third down. He's like third down the machine right now. And everybody's talking about those 3 guys, but there's more to being receiver than just catching the ball. It's also blocking. It's also just being a decoy sometimes. And his speed is a silent weapon that the Packers need to use. He needs to be on the field. And if you ask me, that's silent but deadly. Christian Watson.
I think you need to try to throw it to him once in a while too. I mean, if you were,
yeah,
I understand, it takes a while to get out of the doghouse, but geez Louise, man, the guy's a weapon, but apparently 12 will only hand it off to him. He won't trust him to, or maybe it's a short throw behind the line of scrimmage or what have you, but or those what should be handoffs with an Aaron Rodgers like backs up real quick so he can just shovel it forward and get credit for the passing yards and completion, which I still think is not the play design. I think he impromptus that so he can get another completion, but maybe that's just me. What do you think about that? No? Yes? I think so. Okay. Well, anyway, I think it's very good. So Jaron Reed. Jaron Reed.
Okay.
And Christian Watson. Silent but deadly players of the week from Hafeman Bros. Okay, so we have, what do we got? Another comment here. We got Corey. What's Corey saying? Corey says, the running game has been more explosive with Lazard blocking on the outside. Ooh, Corey has been watching and paying attention. So that's different, right? Because a lot of times Lazard got stuck in blocking in line or even almost at the tight end spot at times over recent years. And I know he still does some of that, but we've seen tape when Lazard can get on a safety or corners or whatever, he can really hold them down. Like he can do some really good things. He can block linebackers well too, for the most part. But yeah, Alan Lazard is a important player on this team, and he's been blocking well. Ben, so and Corey and Lee and anybody else, all we heard about, and again we heard more crap this week because OBJ is like, oh my gosh, Aaron Rodgers is amazing, and I want to go play for the Packers. And then rumors about OBJ coming to the. And we heard all the offseason guys about this high-priced veteran and this high-priced free agent and this guy and that guy. And all we're telling you is we don't need them.
We don't need them.
The receivers are doing pretty darn good.
And I just want to say, last week I had a rant at the start of our radio show about Romeo Doubs. He tried to talk about how good he was, and I kind of went nuts saying he's just a guy. You know what? He's more than just a guy. He's
pretty good.
And I'm going to say this, too. That touchdown that they turned away, I watched Devontae Adams catch 3 touchdowns in the last 2 years where he caught the ball and then a guy smacked it out of his hand within 1 second. They still called it a touchdown. And one time he caught the ball, went to the ground out of bounds and lost the ball, and they still called it a touchdown. So because Devontae Adams has got the Devontae Adams name, it counts as a touchdown. But because Romeo Doubs is a rookie, it's not a touchdown when he hits the ground. That was a completed catch. He caught the ball. It went under his arm. He went to the ground, and then the ground caused the fumble. Okay? That's what it was. And you can be like, oh, he didn't make a football move. It's like, why would he make a football move when he's in the end zone? He caught it under his arm, 2 feet down, knee down, elbow down, ball comes out. I'm sorry, but touchdown. And his touchdown that actually did count reminded me a lot of Double D, where he just jumps in the air and turns around. Like, remember, Donald Driver had the ability to twist his body in all kinds of weird ways while he was in the air. And that was an awesome play by Doubs. And like, there hasn't been a guy like that since Double D, where, Donald Driver, you can jump up, twist, turn, do all kinds of cool stuff. I'm telling you, Doubs, you know who he reminds me of? I'm going to say this. He's like Ray Allen from the NBA. He's just smooth. Everything he does is smooth. Everything he does is, it's not like flashy, but he has got enough wiggle to get to where he needs to get to. He catches the ball pretty well. He has, he had the fumble, but that was a terrible pass by Rodgers. That's 2 weeks in a row. Rodgers has terrible pass that, guy fumbles it or whatever. But I'm just telling you, between Doubs, Watson with his speed, Randall Cobb on third down, Alan Lazard has been solid and awesome. Like, he had some awesome catches in this game. I mean, just those 4 guys, that's all you really need at wide receiver. We don't need OBJ. We don't. Please don't sign him, Goody. Please don't.
Absolutely not. We don't need him. It is time to take a quick break again. Just to remind you, as we're kind of segmenting this out, we'll be back here in just 10 seconds. Or we'll be back here in just a bit. Haven Bros, Packer outright opinions. We will get into the trip to London. We'll get into the communication problems the Packers have and whether the accent will be an issue for them in London. And we'll also get into our beef for this week, Ben's beef, and a couple other things too. So Mom also says she agrees it was a touchdown, and Mom's always right. We always know that. So be back here in 1 second. Let me just click the right button. Oh boy, where did it go? Here we go. Oh, let's just give you this one. Wow, that was trippy. I didn't know I could do that. Okay, awesome. Back in, that gives you a little bit of idea of what's coming next. We are coming back here with our big piece of the show. It is Ben's beef that's up next. I told you, Ben, that Mom had a beef. And one of these weeks, Mom's going to call in with her beef. Now, she wanted to go by, she's like, well, I can't say I'm your mom on the radio. If it's during the radio show,
Well,
and I was like,
Hayne Jafeman.
Well, she talked about being Jane from Casco. She was gonna like really disguise it. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, just be mom. Just be, come on. Like, you'd probably help us out. If our mom calls the show, people like to hear from mom. And mom was kind of fired up and energized and talking about, she used, one of her key phrases that she often uses. So, I mean, like, I think people like it. So I think mom can get a beef one of these weeks too. But this week, it is Ben's beef. It's beef time. The weekly beef from Hafeman Bros. Here we go. Weekly beef from Hafeman Bros.
Man, I got a beef to pick with you.
You want some beef or what?
Yo, what's your beef? Come on, man.
Okay. It is time for the beef of the week. Beef of the week? I don't know. I'm still not set on exactly what to say or what to call it. But it's time for Ben to take over the show and give us his beef for this week from this past week's game. Or maybe just a beef that's been hanging around for a while. Is it like an old stinky beef, Ben? Or is it a recent beef? What is it for you?
I don't know. It's old. I'm old.
It's an old beef.
I think it might have been expired,
Expired.
and it's been sitting in the fridge for a long time. It's got some mold on it, but it's still accountable. It's still something that happens. I'm going to ask you a question. What is in common between all these players I'm going to name? Are you ready? Devontae Adams, Elton Jenkins, Kenny Clark, Jair Alexander. Let's see who else. Josh Myers. Who else? Devondre Campbell. Adrian Amos. Tell me something that's a common denominator with all those players I just named.
Adrian Amos. Amos threw me off. I thought I was on to something.
Well, Amos is kind of a wishy-washy, kind of, but not quite. Sort of.
Okay, I'm still gonna go with my initial thought. My initial thought was overhyped.
Exactly, but not overhyped by fans, not overhyped by media outlets, overhyped by the Green Bay Packers and Green Bay Packer local reporters. This is my beef. There is no possible way in the history of all time that one team could have the best cornerback in the NFL and the best left tackle in the NFL and the best quarterback in the NFL and the best guard who can switch and play tackle in the NFL and the best inside linebacker in the NFL and the best defensive tackle not named Aaron Donald in the NFL and one of the best safeties in the NFL who doesn't seem to ever do anything, but he's solid, but he's one of the best there in the NFL. And, of course, Devontae Adams, the best receiver in the NFL for the longest time, even though he just got every target. There's no way. If we would have had all those awesome players, and they're all on the Packers last year, I know Dave Bakhtiari was hurt, Jair gets hurt, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff, but there's no way that they could all be on one team. Yet that's all we hear about as fans. And unfortunately, 90% of Packer fans aren't like us, who look at the film, who study things, who look at stuff, who look up all the different stats and the PFF grades and all this kind of junk to find out whether guys are actually really good or not. They just go with what they hear. So when someone says, well, he's the best cornerback in the NFL. He's the best wide receiver in the NFL. He's the best guard in the NFL. He's the best, over and over again. And that's what they're reporting over and over again. And that's what the team says. And I don't blame a team. I mean, if you're a team, you're not going to be like, yeah, this guy stinks. No, you're not going to say that, right? But if you're a reporter, your job is to tell the truth, okay? Tell the truth. How can the Packers defense look just as good, actually better last year, with Zadarius Smith not playing at all? I thought he was supposed to be so great, right? That's all we heard was how great he was. All we heard was how Jair Alexander is the best cornerback in the NFL, yet the Packers defense was playing better without those two players last year. Devontae Adams. He's the greatest quarterback, greatest wide receiver in the NFL. Really? No. And the reason why I bring all this stuff up is it comes down to one thing that we talked about all off season. We brought it up last week, and now again this week, finally after the game, everybody's talking about it. It's the Elton Jenkins. That's what I'm going to with the beef, okay? It's a long beef, but it ends with, once again, Elton Jenkins. He's so good. He can play. I mean, he can play anywhere on the line. I mean, when you have a guy like Elton Jenkins, you can just place him out there anywhere, and he's great. Is he really? No. We've been talking about it all offseason. We said, please, don't put him at right tackle. I'd rather see Yash at right tackle. I'd rather see Royce at right tackle. Royce is a tackle, not a guard. And you can watch the film. Watch the film. He's much better at tackle than he is at guard. Also, True. Zach Tom is a right tackle, not Elton Jenkins. And I've heard people like Aaron Nagler, for instance. And he says, I don't know why, Elton had his first 2 games are pretty rough. But this last game, I watched it back and, okay, yeah, sure. He had some trouble in pass protection. But he was doing great in the running game. Like his run blocking was unstoppable. Okay, that sounds like a guard to me, isn't it? Doesn't a guard block in the running game more? Isn't like if you have a guard, isn't he supposed to be a better run blocker than a pass blocker? Yes, especially when he's your last line of defense on the end of the line to protect your quarterback. Let's have a good run blocker over there. Not a good pass blocker, but a good run blocker. And yeah, maybe his injury has slowed him down, and that may be the case. Okay, even more reason to play him at guard. When the guy played guard, he was a Pro Bowl guard. Why would you take a guy who is one of the best at his position and put him in a position where he's average or below average at best? It is dumb. And I want to turn it over to you because you just said you read an article from Bill Huber. And what did Bill Huber say that the Packers are going to do?
Oh, Bill Huber. Oh, gosh.
And it's not his fault.
No, it's not.
The Packers have said.
Bill Huber is what is Bill Huber's fault is, when he stumbles around, bumbles around trying to ask a question, nobody knows what the hell he's talking about. But what is not his fault is this, which is, let me see if I can bring it up here. What is not Bill Huber's fault is,
well, they were at Matt LaFleur was asked about it on Monday.
There it is.
And he said, yeah, we've been thinking about maybe putting, trying Yash over at right tackle. And the question a lot of people are saying is, well, is Bakhtiari fully ready to go at left tackle? Because we can't afford to have Yash playing right tackle. And then Bakhtiari is not ready to go. And then we got to move him back. And then everybody, the whole situation's all screwed up. And I totally get that. I totally get that. But when you have now Bakhtiari's back, Yash has proven he's the top half in the league in grade at tackle. Why would you not play him at tackle when you could take a guy who's a probably top 10, top 5 guard in the NFL and play him at guard?
I think
when he's a below average tackle.
Yeah. I mean, your argument is strong. Why the Packers why are they so set on this? Elton Jenkins is elite everywhere. Here's what they say though. Let's take a look at this article. Oh, yeah. All right. So
this is what I'm talking about, Bill Huber.
Packers sticking with Alpha Jenkins at right tackle. The Green Bay Packers want their best 5 linemen on the field, which they repeatedly say they want their best 5 linemen on the field. Elton Jenkins is the best right tackle, offensive coordinator Adam Stenavich said. Adam Stenavich said it. Now, don't look at this guy. We don't care what he says. All right. Elton Jenkins, here, on to the article from Bill Huber. Elton Jenkins has been the Green Bay Packers starting right tackle, is the starting right tackle, and will continue to be the starting right tackle, period.
Okay, that's all we need to hear. You can stop it because we don't want to, we might get trouble for showing his whole article on here.
Offensive coordinator Adam Stenavich couldn't have been clearer after Wednesday's practice, the first of 2 this week before flying to London to face the New York Giants. Jenkins will stick at right tackle and not move back to guard, and Yash will provide valuable insurance rather than playing on the damn field. I mean, rather than taking over at right tackle.
It's dumb.
No, Stenavich, quote, "You're always looking to put your best 5 out there. And right now, I think Elton's the best at right tackle."
That sentence actually doesn't make sense. He says, put your best 5 out there, but Elton's the best at right tackle. Is he one of the best 5 offensive linemen on the team? No, he is not. Yash is. Elton is one of the best 5 offensive linemen on the team, yes. Yeah, and I don't care if he's the best at right tackle. He's better at guard.
And he's not the best at right tackle.
Okay, he's not. But the difference between the difference between Yash and Elton at right tackle is probably like minuscule. The difference between Elton and Runyon or Elton and Royce is probably monstrous at guard. It's not even hard to figure out. These guys are so stubborn. I don't understand. That's the
what
beef.
it is.
The beef is, why do you, it's like bashing your head against the wall or insanity, right? Let's do the same thing and expect something different to happen is insanity, right? Well, they're insane. They're insane to do this. You can't say you're going to put your best 5 out there and then put a guy who's one of the best in the whole NFL at tackle and have him sitting on the bench. It's dumb.
You talked about how Yash is ranked through the first few games. Like he's up there. He's up there in the top 20, right? He's at top 18 after the first couple weeks. Why don't you want that guy in the field? It doesn't make sense. Here, let's a couple more quotes from Stenovich. Because one thing Bill Huber can do is get quotes and put them out for people to read. He can put a decent article together. More from Stenovich after he has said that stupid line that doesn't make sense and contradicts itself. Then he says, for him, it's the challenge of left tackle or right tackle. You're going to be playing against the best D linemen on every team, those edge guys. He's an alpha. He's a dog, and he's going to approach it every week. He wants that on his shoulders. Well, he is not in charge of the offensive line. I don't care what he wants. You, Adam Stenovich, and Butkus need to make the decisions at who are the best 5 guys. And we're sick of hearing you say you want the best 5 guys every stinking week when you're clearly not trying to put your best 5 out there. The pack. So some teams do this. Let's go over this real quick. Some teams say these guys are guards. This guy's a center. These guys are tackles, right? And then they play those guys and they practice those spots, and that's where they stay. Other teams, the Packers, say we're drafting all these guys and we want guys to learn, cross-train, play different spots, be versatile, blah, 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 blah. But we want to get our best 5 out there. That's why we do it this way. That's what they say, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why they don't just say this guy's just a guard, this guy's just a tackle. Yash is he is in your top 3 offensive linemen. No one can argue that.
He's better than Runyon, he's better than Royce, and he's better than Myers. Period. He might even be better than Jenkins at this point.
He is better than Jenkins too, in my estimation, but some people argue that and say he's not. Fine. He's still in your top 3, and you're going to not have him play? And you're going to stick this guy out of position who struggled, wasn't that good when he played there in the past in the first place, even before he had his injury, but he's really struggling now, and you're going to keep sticking him out there? Come on, man. Come on. And we talked about it. The line is the biggest question mark of this team. What's going to ultimately determine success this season if the Packers want to get to the ultimate goal? If the line is good enough, they'll do it. If the line's not good enough, forget it. I didn't mean to hijack your beef there, but Jesus. And why do we got to talk about it every freaking week? I'm sorry to talk about the offensive line again, but the offensive line is the biggest problem and the biggest thing they need to get right. And right now, they're making the wrong decisions again and again and again, just like they did in last year's playoff game after Yash played great. And they're like, get to the playoffs. Oh, no, let's put our experienced tackles out there. Billy Turner will hold it down.
Yeah, Billy Turner stinks.
Dude.
All I know is this.
Frustrating.
We've been talking about this for months. And now finally everybody's talking about it. Like after the game, all of a sudden everybody's like, oh my God, like Elton Jenkins just looked terrible out there. They look terrible out there. Like, what are they doing? Maybe they should not start him. And it's not hard. We saw it because we knew what we were to look for. Now finally every other Packer fan has seen it. Everybody's seen it. While you're watching the game, they saw him get destroyed over and over again. And yeah, Judon's awesome. He is awesome. And that's even more reason why you don't want him out there. If you know he's awesome, put somebody out there who's used to blocking a guy who's fast and quick. Elton Jenkins doesn't have the quickest feet in the world. He got blown past. Royce Newman's got quicker feet than Elton Jenkins. But I'd rather have Yash.
How many times we got to say it before they get the message? Somebody get it right, Green Bay Packers. We'll be back in just a bit for more. Okay, let's continue on. That's going to be where our radio show breaks. All right. Do you have any plays you want to go over?
Yeah,
You got some
not that
plays?
many. Not that
All
many.
right. Let's
Not as many
get
as
to them. Let
as
me
I usually have. But
stop this part.
has anybody
And
got any?
let's get to some plays here. I'll catch up on while you get the plays loaded up. I'll catch up on the chat here. Sorry, guys, we didn't get all your comments there for a little bit. Let's see. They want to talk about London, some things. We'll talk about that in our last segment too. Yeah, the London field known for injuries. Hopefully not. I mean, the team should. It'll be weird. Packers' first time there, but they better be prepared. And they're going in early. They left early for that reason. Jonathan was here. Said Bill Belichick. He didn't like him, but we beat him. Look, we kind of gushed a little on Belichick on our radio show last week, but the dude was all over stuff in that game.
Dude.
How can you not respect that guy? Like, he was all on top when Aaron Rodgers trying to get 12 on the field. He got the timeout.
He was running down there to get the timeout. And then next time they had it built in where they had the guy who got injured. Yeah.
Bill Belichick, he's all over everything. He's watching. That dude is dialed in. You got to respect him whether you hate him or not.
Yeah, I hate him, but he's a good freaking coach, man. I mean, sorry.
He was on top of everything, even playing down to the wire, like the timeouts, the use of his timeouts, how they wanted to use time at the end of the game, the decisions they made, the plays they ran, like just smart. He always is very smart. Excellent management of the game. Like him and Mike McCarthy couldn't be any more different in terms of how they manage a game and their ability to make the right decisions at the right times. Insane how good that guy is at that. Jonathan's talking about in London, the Packers will own the all-time win record. We'll see about that, I guess. I don't know. Unless you're talking about Giants and Packers here overall. And I don't know. Lee's talking about Aaron Jones. We can talk about Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones was awesome in this last game. We didn't get into that. We blew right past it. Oops. Maybe you got some plays to show how good Jones was, but we'll find out.
Somewhat.
Jonathan says he had a bad game when you hurt a knee, maybe work left-handed. Jonathan, it's more than one bad game. He's not looking good at tackle. We're saying he should be on the field if he's healthy enough to play.
He's a top 5 offensive lineman on this team.
But stick him in at guard and let Yash play tackle. That's what we're trying to get at. We're not frustrated with Elton Jenkins. Okay, Elton Jenkins came back as soon as he could. He's doing his best. He's just playing out of position right now, and the Packers keep spewing the same line to everybody that they're doing it because he's just so good that he can play there. No, he's good, but let him play where he's best versus making him play out of position where he's not as good. That's the message. All right, Ben's got some plays here. Let's get him into the stream. Let's check it out.
This is just the first play of the game on offense.
Hang on, it didn't come up yet for me. Oh, there it comes up. Okay.
And I just want to show, it's just Lazard. He's got a 15-yard slant route over here. He's going to get the ball thrown here. There's going to be guys all around him, and Rodgers throws it to him. And I just want to show it because look at that. Rodgers has already got the ball out and in the air. Anticipation throw. The defense doesn't even know what's going on. There's all these guys here. Normally, Rodgers doesn't throw this ball. It was a great pass. It was an anticipation throw. It was into a window here. Not a super tight window. But based on the coverage, it worked out great. When you watch it from home, it doesn't look like it's that bad. But, usually Rodgers will not throw this ball if he sees these two guys.
Because that guy is there and does not have his back turned. Like he's looking at him, right? Like you said with zone, and they're looking at the quarterback. He's always worried somebody can sneak over there and cause some problems. Pick it off.
But, I mean, it was a great pass. First play of the game. Big, huge play. Allen Lazard. I mean, it was awesome. And I just want to show it to show that Rodgers can do the things that we want him to do. Though that was thrown off his back foot again, instead of, I don't know what he's doing. But so just a quickie, showing you some nice stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like a super hard, crazy thing, right? It just has to be just somewhat good. Like just run the
plays.
Play.
Yeah.
Run the play.
Run the plays. That's all we've been asking for him for years, is to run the offense, run the plays, and then once in a while, when it's warranted, make one of your magic plays or magic throws. But don't try to make.
And he had some magical throws in this game too in the second half.
I know,
especially that one. The one to Randall Cobb was insane.
He had a horrible first half, and then Apparently, they
It actually
played-
wasn't terrible. Like, I got to be honest, it wasn't that bad.
wasn't that bad, even
Really,
though it was 4 out of 11 and a pick six.
I'm
and-
gonna show
And
you.
that was his first pass attempts. Was actually 3 out of his last 10 and a pick six.
The pick six was Brett Favre like. I mean, that was terrible.
Yeah.
That was a premeditated decision. Don't even read the defense.
I'm
Just
going
throw
to
it
this
out there.
guy. Yeah. Okay.
That was just dumb. So I'm not even like, yeah. But I'm telling you, it wasn't as, watching back on the All-22, it wasn't nearly as bad as it looked. I mean, he had a couple, his throws to the flat. He's got, I don't know, understand. Like somebody had mentioned this, I think it was Andy Herman. Maybe it was actually, might have been even Aaron Nagler, who said, everybody was giving Jordan Love crap because he was missing guys in the flat in the preseason. Well, Aaron Rodgers has missed about 7 freaking passes in the flat so far this year between A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones, and the one to, the quick pass over to Romeo Doubs ended up being a fumble. Those are all terrible passes.
Yeah, that was terrible.
And they ripped the crap out of Jordan Love all summer about it, and they don't say nothing. Nobody's talking crap about Rodgers about it. Come on. I don't know. I got a couple plays to show you here. I don't know if you're ready to share me.
Yeah, we're shared. Sorry. Yeah, we're shared. And
okay, let me know, because I don't know what's going on.
Right. But you're right. Aaron Rodgers, the thing is, we see him run the offense, and it looks great. He can do it. He has to, I've said it before, and we both said it, but I said more recently saying, like, to me, if the Packers want to have the ultimate success this year, Aaron Rodgers is not going to be in the MVP discussion, because he needs to play. He needs to run the offense, manage the game, and run take the plays that are there, not make a bunch of magical plays and have extreme stats and touchdown, interception ratio, and all that crap. He's got to feature the backs, and he's got to take a little bit of a back seat. If he chooses not to do that, well, they'll win a bunch of games, or quite a few might win the division, but they're not going to win the whole thing. So anyway, Aaron Jones was awesome in this game. Hopefully you got some Aaron Jones here. What do you got?
Well, I got one Aaron Jones. This is the play right before the Christian Watson touchdown, and then we're also going to show the Christian Watson touchdown. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because the Packers attack wide to the left here on this play. Well, it's the right on our screen, but to the left for them. And then they attack the defense on the other side on the Christian Watson. So the 2 plays in a row going to the exact opposite extremes, okay? And the reason why I got this green circle that you can see here with the number 9 up here, you're going to watch Christian Watson is going to come in and take and block 27. And that's the only guy who gets a block on this play. Alan Lazard tries to block, falls down. Davis tries to block, falls down. Bakhtiari blocks nobody. And Myers comes over there and he gets a piece of somebody, but at that point, it's already, like, I think he's kind of right about where Aaron Jones gets tackled. But Christian Watson, when he comes in and takes out 27, he ends up blocking a couple different guys, which gives Aaron Jones the outside run. So you don't see Watson. He's actually lined up way far outside right now. He's not even on the screen. But as it moves forward, you'll see him coming in. So watch for Watson. Don't worry about... So look at number 27. Okay, so right here you see 27. And Lazard is already beat. And why Lazard is blocking a defensive end? He's blocking 91. I mean, Lazard is a wide receiver. Why is he blocking a defensive end? So he's already lost.
He's blocking that guy so Bakhtiari can get out and stretch those legs a little bit and run. He likes to run.
He does run. Also, if you look here, Runyon's missed his block right away. Royce is laying on the ground. Maybe he's trying to cut this guy. I don't know. And then Myers is coming over here. I think Myers is supposed to get 8, but he totally misses. This is not blocked well. This is just all Christian Watson and Aaron Jones. But watch Christian Watson stay on 27 the entire time. Okay, so now if you're looking here, Lazard is actually kind of blocking him in the back, which probably could have been a penalty. It might have been holding him here to hope so that Jones can sneak through. But Bakhtiari is there, so he's in the way. So that's at least something that's good. Davis is going to get on 13, but he's going to fall down. And Watson is still controlling 27 because that's a little corner, and Watson's a huge monster. As we move forward, Davis is laying on the ground. His guy beat him. Lazard is still hanging out in 91, which might be holding, but no one's calling it. David Bakhtiari is still running free, not blocking anybody. Myers missed 8, and Christian Watson is still blocking 27. Heads up. As we move forward, Myers missed 8, and now he's trying to go to 32. He missed him too. Christian Watson is blocking 27. He now blocks 27 into 8. and starts falling down. And Bakhtiari still hasn't touched anybody yet. And Aaron Jones has now got to the outside. So he's going to get a couple. And Myers kind of got in the way there right at the end, right? So that Jones can get a couple more yards. But Jones gets up and he's mad because he thought he had a touchdown. He thought for sure he could get a touchdown on that play. And he probably could have if Myers had gotten the block. So what we're looking at there, I just want to show it because Christian Watson is the only guy who got a block, sustained his block. And that one block set the edge for Aaron Jones to get pretty much almost the first down. And that's interesting because you watched a bunch of guys not do anything or not do their jobs properly.
Yeah, there are a bunch of guys just running around doing nothing.
And here, luckily, Aaron Jones is reading this. He's like, okay, if I go to the outside, I'm probably going to get tackled. That's why he puts his foot down right here and he starts cutting it back. Because he's already, he does it. He cuts on the wrong foot. It's awesome. But he's already reading this block and he knows. And if Jenkins or anybody would have got this guy, but Jenkins didn't block anybody either on this play. So Jenkins blocked nobody. Royce fell down. Runyon missed his block. Bakhtiari blocked nobody. Myers blocked nobody. Davis fell down. Lazard sort of got his guy and probably held him. And still Aaron Jones got 10 yards. And the reason why he got 10 yards is because of Christian Watson. So that's why I'm saying he's a silent but deadly player of the game earlier. And of course Aaron Jones, who's the man, but everybody knows it. Aaron Jones will never be the silent but deadly player of the game. He's just deadly, period. And now look, there's 2 guys here, 3, and Myers sort of gets his hand on him, but there's not much he could do here. But he read that block and cut it back in and, gets the first down. I mean, how many yards did he get there? 12 yards? And he's so mad. He's like, dang, it should have been a touchdown, right?
12 yards on a play where almost nobody did their job.
Almost nobody did their job, except for Christian Watson and Aaron Jones did their job, and it was enough to get 12 yards. And that just shows you how cool football, it doesn't have to be perfect all the time.
No, absolutely not.
Sometimes guys can, and I really like the fact that they attack the outsides because the Patriots are known for smart, good players, but they're not known for speed. Like this is the exact opposite of playing Tampa Bay last week, right? When you play Tampa Bay, you don't want to get their defense flowing from side to side because they're fast enough to get there and make a play. Patriots, not so much. So these 2 plays shows a really good way to attack the Patriots that I really liked what LaFleur did. And 2 plays back to back where one time you attack one side of the field, the very next play you come back and attack the other side of the field and give the guy who made that awesome block a touchdown. So as you're watching this play, the play action to A.J. Dillon in the purple here is going to suck in these 2 guys on the linebacker. So you're going to see him go straight in right away. As Christian Watson starts moving in motion, you can tell it's a zone because this guy here, this safety, is going to pass it off to him. And it was originally this guy was probably supposed to play deep, and then he was supposed to cover Watson, but they switched it up where he goes deep, and then this guy's supposed to come down and cover Watson. But when he comes down, Dobbs blocks him, does a good job. That's another thing. Dobbs had a nice block here on this play. And then the corner that's covering Dobbs is not worried about Christian Watson because that's not his assignment. His assignment is to cover Dobbs on this play. Because it looks like it's zone, but it's actually like a zone man, concept where if they get your zone, then you cover them by man. So you're going to see, what I want you to do is when you first watch it, watch these 2 safeties. They're going to switch off. Also watch Dobbs. He's going to take care of this safety. So if you watch these 2 safeties, that's all you need to look for. And then we'll watch it again. And we'll see Christian Watson just go faster than lightning on the other side of the screen. But that's all you really need on this play because he's so fast. So you see on top there, those 2 safeties just switch spots. Now that the safety who was deep is coming down and Dobbs is going to make a move on this corner and then go block him. And that's enough because Watson's so fast. It's like they're not even anywhere near him. So it's a great play, a great combination of 2 plays that attack totally different sides of the field with 2 different players that are both dynamic players, Aaron Jones and Christian Watson. And they take care of it, and it was just easy. Both those plays were the first one was not easy. That was a little bit tougher. But that second play, definitely easy.
I just, when that play happened, I really wish it would have been from the 10-yard line instead of on the opposite side. I was like, because he could have ran forever. Oh my God.
Yeah. And then like I said, they tried it later on from the 20, but the Patriots no, we're watching 9 for now. We're not going to give you this crap. They were totally on top of it. They were not going to get fooled.
He's such a weapon. You got to use him. Get the ball to that kid and use that speed, man. Yeah.
But I thought it was kind of cool to see those 2 plays in a row. It was interesting. And Christian Watson was a key on both of those plays. And it was cool to see how they attacked in different ways.
Now I understand Jonathan's comment. He's talking about Bears and like Packers most wins all time. Blah blah blah. I get it.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Yep.
Yep.
I'm going to play one more play on about the Packers offense, but it's actually more about the Patriots defense. And it's kind of there was a couple plays like this. I didn't have time to get them all, so I'm sorry about that. But what we're looking at here is I want to show. I'll get it up in a second, Jace. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
This is what, like you were talking about how Rodgers had a bad first half. There was a lot of grabbing and pulling and yanking by the Patriots defense.
Okay.
There was a pass to Cobb early on where it looked like he way overthrew him. And on that play, Cobb got held. This is a play to Lazard. Lazard's, I think he's like either here or he's one of these two guys. I think he's this guy here. And he's going to go up here, and the guy's going to grab him right about the 30. And Rodgers throws it before that. And had Lazard not been grabbed, it probably would have been a catch. So it's not a terrible pass. Okay, Lazard's on the top of the screen. So Lazard gets the inside route. This guy's grabbing him. It's way past 5 yards, by the way. And he's grabbing him right now and holding him down. And I want you to look here. Rodgers has already thrown the ball because he knows that Lazard's got the inside route here, and Lazard's going to come back out again. So where Rodgers is throwing the ball is where, if Lazard wasn't being held, is a perfect pass. So when you're watching it back, like from the all-22, you see this kind of stuff where if you're just watching the game, you don't know. Like the ball's in the air right now. And look, this corner is still grabbing Lazard. Look at his arm. This guy's grabbing Lazard's arm. This guy's around his waist. Here's an official right here, by the way, just so you know. I'm circling him up here. He's looking right at it, doesn't call it. And now Lazard's looking for the ball, and it looks like, oh my God, that was a terrible pass. How the heck could, Lazard had no idea what was going on because this guy was grabbing him and yanking him. No call by this official. No call. No call. No call. Hey, freak out.
Just incomplete.
It's just an incomplete pass. The guy just grabbed him at the 5-yard line, held on him until about the 10, 15-yard downfield, and then let him go. But, no pass interference. Can't call it pass interference.
It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me how many, it's crazy to me how much the everyone talks about it, and the defensive players all talk about how many advantages are given to the offensive side of the ball and the offensive players. Yet they allow that stuff to happen all the time when the rules are clear. The rules are, right? 5 yards. After 5 yards, you can't grab, you can't chuck. Before 5 yards, you can do whatever you want to that guy. After 5 yards, it's hands off. If it's before the ball's thrown, it's holding or illegal contact. If it's while the ball's thrown or after the ball's thrown, it's pass interference. Yet how many times do they actually call it? Never. 10% of the time, maybe? I mean, it's just, but all the advantages for the offense, come on, man. And then the teams know this, so they train their players to do all that stuff. They teach their defensive backs to grab and hold and do all this stuff. And it's just like, I get it. You're trying to look for advantages, but come on, man. Just play football. Pisses me off.
Yeah. But I wanted to show that because, I don't think Rodgers' first half was as bad as it looked, to be quite honest. There was at least 3 plays where the Patriots were grabbing Packers receivers past the 5-yard marker for sure on deep passes that really affected the pass. And Rodgers made anticipation throws. So that's something you're going to see. A lot of times when you see a guy, like a pass that looks really terrible from Rodgers at times, on a deep pass like that, a lot of times it's because somebody grabbed somebody and screwed it up. Because he let that, especially on those rainbow type throws, because he has to let it go way earlier than you anticipate. That wasn't a laser beam. That was a throw it early, let it kind of drop in the bucket for, Lazard. And then later on, of course, in the second half, he had a great one right away at the beginning of the third quarter where he did that same type of drop in the bucket, and Lazard caught it. And it made a great catch on the other sideline. So,
yeah.
It's just, and he was getting beat up in that play too, but Lazard fought through it and then and he couldn't find the ball. On that one, he got beat, he couldn't find the ball and he didn't even know where it was. And he kind of stopped running his route. So it looked terrible. It looked like, oh my God, what's going on? Where's he even throwing that? Well, he knew exactly where he was throwing it. He had to let it go so early that was part of it. So, now Rodgers pick 6, terrible. But the whole first half in general, I don't know if it was as bad as we thought. I would say the passes to the flat were bad, and then also his pick six was bad. But a lot of those deep passes where he overthrew Randall Cobb and Christian Watson and Lazard were little, just, they were anticipation throws on rainbow balls where guys were getting held and they couldn't find the ball because they were getting beat up. And that should have been pass interference on every one of those. When was the last time the Packers got a deep pass interference call for them? I can't even think of it. Like when you watch other games, like I'm watching the Chiefs and the Bills and all these other, like how many, we used to get that all the time. Where like if we had Jordy or somebody and they would get, pass interference because a guy grabbed them, or at least defensive holding or something. We don't get any defensive holding or pass interference calls for us on offense anymore. Can you remember any of them?
I don't think there's been many this year. Maybe like one this year that I can remember.
I mean, we got one on Randall Cobb in the second half. Remember that that continued to drive, which was a good call. Yep. But they finally called it. But there was like a bunch of those earlier in the game that they did not call.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to heads up, let people know about that.
Just in general, I mean, that's why I kind of went off about it before, because in general in the league, it happens all the damn time, and people they just don't call it. But I guess if you, like I said a couple of weeks ago, if you're a defensive player, you're looking for an advantage, you test that, right? You'd be like, well, I'm going to do it every play. They're not going to call it they're not going to throw flags all game long. So if I do it, if there's 60 defensive snaps and I do it every single play and they flag me for one or two a game, it's worth it, right?
It is. I'll just show you that later. I don't know if you're ready for me to show some more stuff. I got 3 more videos. They're all defense.
Okay.
So this is that touchdown where the play clock went to 0 and it should have never been a touchdown and blah, blah, blah. But we're just going to show you what happened on this play. So Douglas is over here on the top of the screen. He's playing I think they're playing, I don't know what they're doing, to be quite honest. So this receiver here is the guy who scores a touchdown. He lined up over here at first, and he came around across this way. Okay. And Douglas let him go because you've got Nixon. For some reason, Nixon's way down here. This is our slot guy, right? And he's way down in this area. Here's Campbell pointing at somebody to cover this guy, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe pointing about this guy, or I don't know quite what's going on. This guy is going to go to the middle of the field is Rudy Ford. And then Douglas goes back. Savage was back here deep. And Stokes went with this guy because he was lined up down here and he went straight. So Stokes had to cover him. So you got this guy double teamed. And then you got that crossing route right here. And nobody covers with Parker. Nobody covers him. And you're going to see as you go further how these two guys don't move from this spot. And there's nobody here. Like, there's nobody to cover. There's nothing. Like, they should have gotten back. Like, Campbell should have just gotten back and maybe jumped up. Like, remember last week when he jumped up and knocked down a pass or something? But they're all just kind of looking at each other. And I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. And look at all this. There's nobody here. I don't know what the plan was. You know, like when Stokes did, I think what should have happened was Nixon was probably supposed to maybe be deeper. Like, I don't know what he's doing here. Like, there's no reason for a cornerback to be basically at the line of scrimmage a good 2-3 seconds after the ball's been snapped. He should be back. Campbell, I could understand him being here. I think it was either Nixon was either supposed to go across with this receiver, or he was supposed to go back and be part of, like, maybe look out for this, like the flat, or look out for a crossing route in this area. So I don't know for sure. I'm not going to say that's what was supposed to happen, but based on what everybody else did, the fact that Stokes went deep here with this guy, Rasul stayed here to cover the crosser, go over on this side. Somebody has to cover this area, and there was just nobody there. And then that's how he got wide open, and that was just stupid. I mean, it happens all the time, and I don't really know why it keeps happening. Like, what are we doing here, guys?
Yeah, I mean, guys screw up, and especially if they don't know what they're doing, or there's miscommunication here. So there is a back, right? So one of these guys maybe has the back.
But you got two, and then also here and Ford. They're looking at the play action, but right now, like, Ford is the one guy who sees, because he can't see the jumble. Like, maybe these two guys didn't. Maybe Nixon doesn't know that the ball wasn't. Maybe he thinks the ball was handed off, and that's why he hasn't dropped back yet. Because they've been so worried about the run, right?
Yeah, could be.
So maybe that's what happened. I don't know. And Ford finally is now seeing, oh crap, he's got the ball. But I don't think in the zone, I don't think his responsibility is to cover this guy all the way across the field. I think Nixon is supposed to be coming back to cover if, like this part of the zone. I think forward is supposed to be taking this part of the zone, or like this side over here, because Douglas goes straight back. So I think Ford has got here. I think Nixon's supposed to have this flat here. Campbell's supposed to have the middle. And then Quay Walker is blitzing.
Yeah.
So, and somehow, like when this guy gets across, it defeats this coverage. With
Does
that,
does Inigbari get held here or not? That was the one thing I wanted to look.
I don't know. It looks like he's getting his butt kicked is what it is. I have no idea.
He ends up kind of down. The guy's kind of flattening him.
No, he just
he just loses footing. Yeah. Okay.
He's not strong enough. He's a speed rusher at this point, and he's got a lot of good moves and stuff, but he's not quite there with everything. It was just a perfect play,
Yeah. It was. Look, happens all the time. Like you said, defenses miss assignments, guys get screwed up. That's one of the reasons you do some of the misdirection stuff, or you run motion, like all these teams run motion, and that's why it works. That's why so many people do it. Just to follow up, Jonathan said he saw 6 bad throws from Rodgers, and I think he means in the whole game. So probably saying what you're thinking too. Lee has a question as we were talking about defense. What do you think about Stokes this week? He looks so bad in his opinion. I think he did. I mean, he's who I thought he was.
Yeah, he looks like Stokes.
There's like Denny Green. If I had the Denny Green quote, I'd play it right now. He's who I thought he was the whole time. Like he had one play in the game that happened in front of him,
and he attacked it,
and he made a tackle. And he had all these other plays where he was so far off. And if it's a running play coming to him, he's not aggressive. He won't attack that. But if the guy has his back to him and can't see him, he'll attack that. But if Eric Stokes has to turn around, if he has to change direction, any of those things, which a lot of times as a corner you have to do, it's not really very good. It's definitely not first round pick worthy, and it's not even starting cornerback worthy. But he's a first round pick from a year ago, and he's starting cornerback. So that's what we got.
Yeah. So we're going to show another play here, but before I do, I just want to talk about one more thing. Kenny Clark got a call for a personal foul because he slammed a guy's helmet after he got blocked. And I'm telling you right now, I watched Judon get a late hit on a Packer player on defense. He had a couple other cheap things he did. Also, the Patriots offensive line was continuously smacking dudes and like holding them and hitting them after the whistle, which I actually think is cool and smart. I mean, that's one of the things I loved about Luke Patrick is he'd go right up until the echo of the whistle, right? But this particular play, I want you to watch. I think it's 77 here. And Devontae Wyatt, who's here getting double teamed, he gets off the double team after the run, and the run doesn't go for very many yards. But 77 comes over after the guy's down and just shoves Wyatt like way after the play. And then Wyatt gets up and like, what the crap? He's getting mad. And then this was earlier in the game. So I'm thinking that Kenny Clark was just kind of sick of this crap. Like, he's like, wait a minute, I'm a Pro Bowler, big time player, getting my butt kicked by these guys late after the whistle and nobody's calling anything. And he's probably getting mad. So what we're looking for here, all these guys got beat up. There's not much going on, but Preston doesn't get blocked for some reason. So he's able to try to get over here and do something. But I'm not really caring about, but that's not why I'm showing this play. I want you to watch Wyatt, and then after the play, maybe it's not 77. It might be 76. I don't know who it is, but somebody shoves him after the end of the play. So you look here, he's getting tackled by Rudy Ford. There you go. Rudy Ford is in there making a play, getting off the block. That wasn't Preston. Preston was getting blocked. Okay, so now here's Wyatt. And you can obviously tell he's letting up, right? He's slowing down. The play is done. He is no longer trying to attack to get into the play. But this cheap son of a gun comes through and smacks the crap out of him right now. And he's like, hey, whoa, what the crap, right? The reason why I'm showing that is because it happened a lot in this game. And I can understand why Kenny Clark got frustrated, because it wasn't just that play that happened on after watching the game back. It happened a lot. The Patriots were cheap sons of guns. They were smacking guys late. They were hitting late. They were doing cheap crap. They were grabbing and holding, doing all the stuff that teams do and getting away with it all game long. So I understand it, but sometimes you have to adjust, and then you have to be the cheap son of a gun too. If they're letting the other team be cheap sons of guns, you go out there and be a cheap son of a gun. You hit late. You block till the end of the whistle. We don't have guys who do that. Royce doesn't do it. Myers can't even get on a block. Bakhtiari just runs, doesn't block anybody. Royce can't get in anybody. Elton Jenkins is doing good in the running game. He does that actually pretty good. But in the passing game, he wasn't very good. So I'm showing you that play in particular because it was, it's Wyatt. And after the play, Wyatt's like, what the crap? And it's obvious that it was a late hit. He led up. The guy hit him late. And he didn't knock him down, by the way. It just shows you Wyatt's athleticism. A big, strong offensive lineman shoves him. And he's like, yeah, he got shoved a good 6 yards there, but he didn't fall down or anything. He's got quick feet. So whatever. Just wanted to show that, maybe Kenny Clark, and I bag on Kenny Clark and I bagged on him after that play, but maybe he was getting sick of crap happening to him all game. I don't know. Nice silence.
Sorry, I was just looking up something here real quick. Yeah, I mean, look, dudes get frustrated, no doubt. Guys can get under your skin. It's just you gotta be smart enough. You gotta be smart enough to back off on that stuff. You can't let those things get to you. You just can't. You gotta be smart like Lukey, right? Because you gotta test the guys, but you're right. You gotta kind of nudge them back when it's within the play, and then you gotta be smart like them. And then when they put their fingers around your throat, then you go, and then you play it up, and then you get the big call against Aaron. What's his name? Dominican Sue choking you, right?
Right. Yeah. Evan Dietrich Smith.
No, that was Lucas that did that one.
No, yeah. But
Evan Dietrich Smith did the other one. Yeah.
Aaron Donald did the same thing happened to Lucas Patrick.
Oh, that was Aaron Donald that got Lucas. Yeah. Aaron Donald choked Lucas Patrick. That's right. He got Aaron Donald so pissed off that he
because he took Aaron Donald out of the game. He kept smacking him and beating him up and all this kind of stuff. And then the other thing with Evan Dietrich Smith was he would untie Dominican Sue's shoes every time that he fell. Every time that if Evan Dietrich Smith fell to the ground, he would just grab a shoe and untie it. And that was when Sue got so mad he stomped on him one time, and then he got kicked out of the game. And it was a smart move. Like sometimes like man is getting all wacky. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, but
it's just getting a little wild for a little bit. But yeah, you gotta. That's why I think the Packers need you as a consultant. Like you got to tell them that stuff. You come in and be like, look, we don't have to be cheap, but if they're doing cheap stuff to you, then you got to do it back a little bit. You got to get under their skin. Do what Ben would do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's why I want to show one last video. This is the overtime. I'll get it up here in a second. This is the defensive stand in overtime. So the Packers don't do any. They want the ball. We want the ball, and we're going to score. Okay, Matt Hasselbeck, right? I love Matt Hasselbeck, but that was not a good plan for him. Packers get the ball, can't do nothing, have to punt it. And the Patriots get the ball like the 50-yard line because their punt coverage wasn't as good because Rudy Ford is on the field playing defense. He's actually right here, I think. So, that sucks. So the Packers have to make a stand on defense. Now, this particular play is a running play. You're going to watch something we talked about with Quay Walker, where he just he doesn't do much. He just kind of hops around, keeps his feet moving, and doesn't get blocked because the Patriots do double team blocks on Lowry, double team blocks here, double team on Jerron Reed. But Reed, I have Reed circled because he gets through the double team and helps make the tackle with him and Quay Walker on this. I think it's second down, but it might be first down. I can't remember. So here we go. We'll take a look at this play here and watch. You want to watch Quay Walker and Jerron Reed. All right. So as you're looking here, Jerron Reed getting just hammered by two guys. Kenny Clark, of course, single blocked by the center. Or no, this is the right tackle because they got 6 offensive linemen in the game here.
Oh, that's right, because they lost one of their tight ends and they only had one left, and yeah, right.
And Dean Lowry's getting double teamed here, so they're doing double team. They decided to double team Dean Lowry and Jerron Reed, but they single block Kenny Clark.
That's
I don't know what that means. I don't know what's going on with that. But anyways,
from the Bill Belichick is the smartest coach in the NFL. I mean, I don't know.
I know. But that was a dumb move because Quay Walker nobody gets to him. And he keeps his feet moving, and he's able to make the tackle here. So now they're still Dean Lowry is doing his best. He's going to the ground to make sure that he doesn't give up leverage on this double team, by the way. So that's a good play by him. It doesn't look like it's a good play because he's laying on the ground and there's two guys beating the crap out of him. But those two guys also aren't 2 or 3 yards downfield getting to Quay Walker. He's doing his job by taking on these two blockers, right? Kenny Clark is trying to shed this guy. He's almost there, but now he's getting sandwiched here.
I'm perplexed by what the hell Campbell is doing on this play.
Oh, he's getting blocked. Oh, he's just standing around. Well, he's holding the edge.
He's here. He came from here and he looped around, but he looped super wide.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
And it's not like you have any back in the flat responsibility here. Like if you're going to loop around tighter and shut that down, like close that edge down. He's not some guy who just learned how to play football, for crying out loud. That's basic football. What the hell?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just noticed that. I'm like, what is he doing? Continue on.
Well, Jaron Reed here, you're going to watch him split these two guys. And Quay Walker is not getting touched because Dean Lowry is doing his job. So shout out to Dean Lowry on this play. Look how quick he went from here to there. You see that? Quay Walker went just like that. And here's Jaron Reed. These two guys are blocking him, but he went under. He went under to get down low to stop him. And they both converge for the tackle. And for like a 2-yard gain or something like that, right? Let's just watch it one more time because it's a cool play. And it takes 3 guys to make this play. It takes Dean Lowry holding up. It takes Quay Walker staying open. And it takes, watch him, smash. It's mostly Jaron Reed who made that play, though. But still, awesome play.
Yeah.
Now here is another run. That was first down. So here's second down. They call another run. This time they got 2 guys who are going to try to double team Preston Smith. And he splits the double team, gets to the backfield, does not make the tackle, but messes the play up. So that's why I got him highlighted here on this one. It'd be better if he would have made the tackle, but he splits the double team right there. See that? He's already past the guard, and the tackle. I don't know if he was supposed to do like the Packer where they go put their arms out and help out for a second and then move on, which is stupid, but whatever. It didn't work. So he's already 2 yards in the backfield already on this play, which is awesome. And look at that. If you're running back and that's what you saw right in front of you, you'd probably be a little scared, right? And the other part is these guys are moving to this way because they're thinking the running back's going that way. But because Preston's here, he cuts back, which allows Gary to come back on the outside. And I think Gary gets a tackle on this because he's pursuing on the backside. Oh, no, he doesn't. Dean Lowry is there. Ooh, Dean Lowry. And Jaron Reed, of course.
Jaron Reed. Dang it.
So now as you watch from this angle, you're going to see Preston. Now, the other thing, I showed this, the center is going to hike the ball, and then he's going to move in motion. These 2 guys go to block Preston on double team, who he splits, right? And then you're going to see over here, Dean Lowry is going to split this double team from the tight end and the tackle. And then this guy's going to go up and try to get Quay Walker. 71 is going to take on Kenny Clark. And then these 3 guys, 77, 69, and the center end up blocking like nobody. And because these guys all just attack.
Wait a minute.
What?
You're telling me now, just as a football person here, let's bring us back up for a second. As a football person, as anyone who looks at football and gets it, here's the lineup. Look where Kenny Clark is. He is shading the center's right shoulder. Okay?
Yep.
You're telling me that center's going to pull out, vacate that spot.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Hey, don't get calm down. Maybe 71 is the guy. I can't remember exactly. I mean,
okay, because I'm like,
sometimes
if the center leaves that's insane. Or they don't respect Kenny Clark whatsoever.
They don't respect Kenny Clark whatsoever.
Oh my God!
Did you watch it?
I did. He was that far inside that guard, and that guard's like, "I'll get him."
Yep. Not only was Kenny Clark not double teamed, he was single teamed by a guy who's not even lined up in front of him.
Wow,
I would have changed my blocking assignments on this play. I would have had these 2 guys switch their positions.
Yeah, center block down and have the guard pull out. That's probably an much easier block.
So what happens? All right, so you look here. Preston did a swim move and a karate chop. Actually, 77 never. He did the Packer put your arm out, but he didn't even touch him, so that was dumb. So he didn't really split a double team, but he got through there. This guy missed. 60's trying to pull for some reason, and Jaron Reed is not having any of it, so he's just shoving him and getting right through it, right?
Yep.
Over here, you got a double team on Dean Lowry. Oh, I thought it was a tight end. I guess it is 76. Well, these guys lined up at tight end. He was a offensive
tackle.
lineman.
Yeah.
But so you're going to watch that. So here's where you see these two guys now are blocking each other. This is the Josh Myers. Remember when Josh Myers was blocking his own guy for a second?
Yep.
On that one against the Vikings. And now Kenny Clark's guy, he blocked Kenny Clark. Now he has to block Reed because Reed beat his guy. And Kenny Clark is scot-free going over this way. And Quay Walker is over here. And now 76 is moving off the double team to go get Quay Walker because he thinks the play is going this way. And they've already let go of Dean Lowry. So Dean Lowry's ready to go because Preston is pushing it back to the inside. Now, it'd be better if Preston made the tackle, but he didn't. And here you got Quay Walker ready to go in the right hole. Jerron Reed getting off the block. Dean Lowry attacking. Great defensive play. All of these guys, Preston, Quay, Reed, Lowry, and then also back pursuit by Gary. That's a lot of guys swarming to the ball, and then Dean Lowry smacks the crap out of him. Awesome run play. On second down, great run defense. When you have to stop them, awesome. Now here's the third down play. And the reason why I bring this up, and the reason why I showed all those plays earlier of Packer receivers getting held and beat up and slammed and grabbed and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to just show this play because it's the last defensive play of the game. The game we have to stop. We have to stop them. And who are the two guys that make this play? I will show you. Right here, Rudy Ford. Right here, Nixon. Those are the two guys who make the play. Not the starters, not Douglas, not Savage, not Stokes. Stokes, this guy goes on a streak. Stokes stays with him. This guy down here in the blue goes on a streak. Douglas stays with them. Savage is back here to help out if they need him because he's back coverage. You're going to watch 84 here is going to go in motion. He's a tight end. He's going to come all the way in motion. Come up like this, do an in-breaking route, and then cut back to the outside. Okay? Maybe he's a receiver. I don't remember. Yeah, he's a receiver. And then this guy is the tight end, 83. He comes up, and that's why Nixon ends up covering this 84. He goes in motion with him and then covers him up here on the top of the screen. And he grabs him, and he holds him, and he hangs on to him a little bit. But you know what? We watched the Patriots do it all game, so we can do it too. Look down here. This tight end's going to come up like this, go over here. Rudy Ford is going to come down, hang on to him, grab him, stay with him, get his hand, and break up the pass. Two guys who aren't even starters, who are special teams, who are signed to be special teams aces, are the two guys that shut this play down. Now, there is pressure from the defensive line. They do a great job of condensing the pocket, so I'm going to say that too. I'm not going to not give them credit. But when it comes to this play, you want to look at right here, Nixon, right here. Rudy Ford is not a big guy. He's got to cover his big tight end, and he does a really good job. Now, this receiver shoves Nixon, which, I don't know, I'm pretty sure that's offensive pass interference. Could be wrong about that.
Well,
Nixon's got to take that hit, and he grabs him and stays with him. And then he's quick enough to get in front of him again and shut that off. Okay? Great coverage. Great man coverage here by a slot player on a guy who just got beat up. Down here, Rudy Ford sticking with the tight end. And then you got pressure, and Zappy's going to try to throw it to the tight end, and then Rudy Ford breaks the pass up. Because here's the first down marker right here, the 39. So both these guys are past the first down marker. It's a really good combination, for Zappy to look either here or here or here. He's got three options. They're all covered. Look at that. Covered, covered, covered. Nowhere to go. He throws the ball. Rudy Ford breaks it up. Diving, breaking it up. Awesome play by two guys who aren't even supposed to be on the field, technically. So pretty awesome. Now we're just going to look at the pass rush here. If you look here, you're going to have Reed, Preston. You got Walker, Campbell. You're going to watch Gary sneak through here on a speed rush, just destroy 61. Kenny Clark's going to take on 71, get off, and get pressure on Zappy. So it's going to be Kenny Clark and Gary who get the initial pressure, but these guys on the outside make it so that there's no escape for Zappy to get out of there. So watch Rashawn Gary blow up 61. Super speed, rip move. He's already passed him. But Zappy didn't go back, and now he's like, crap, what am I going to do? And then you look here. Is Nixon holding on to 84? Yeah, he is. And you know why? Because 84 grabbed him first, and they're allowing it to happen. They're not calling anything. And if you look down here, the tight end's got a little bit of a move on Ford, but Ford's got more speed than the tight end, so we're in good shape, right? Come back around. There's Kenny Clark right in Zappy's face. And as we saw before, Nixon did a great job staying with his guy. Here, Ford is on top of this tight end. Zappy's got nowhere to go. He's going to either get sacked or he's going to try to throw it here so that this tight end can speed up and maybe make a play. But as we see, Ford gets his hands in there. That's not going to be completed. It could have been, but Ford dove and made the play. And why did it work? Because our guy got beat up a little bit and he held on to a little bit. So what? Patriots did it all game. And we have two guys who are special teams guys who came in, worked hard, and made the play on the last defensive play of the game to get the ball back to the offense in overtime so we can go back and win. Period. Those two guys, also Gary with it. I mean, that was a speed rush. He just destroyed that dude. Yeah, that's the last video I got. But I just wanted to show because I showed how, Patriots were beating us up all game. Kenny Clark got frustrated. The receivers weren't Rodgers was throwing nice rainbows, and then the guys weren't there, and it looked like it was a terrible pass, but really they were getting held. You know what? Our guys can hold too. And Stokes doesn't do it. Douglas does it sometimes, which is why he's good. And Nixon and Ford, they did it in the last play. And you know what? We end up getting a turnover on downs there. Not turnover on downs, but they forced them to punt. And here you go. Awesome play.
Yeah, I like it. You got a little songbird in the background there too, but
oh, can you hear her doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's singing like a high C right now. Just so everybody knows, my daughter is a drummer who is not in chorus. And the other day we were watching Amadeus, the movie, okay? And actually I think it was the summer or whatever because Grant was still around. And there's a scene where they do the flute, or I don't know. There's one of the or Marriage of Figaro, I think is what it was. It was opera made by Mozart. And one of the parts is like this thing where it goes, it goes all over the place. It's like really hard to do, and it's really high. And Livy's just like sing it like it's nothing. And I'm just like, and after she left the room, I looked at Jesse and I looked at Grant, and I was like, she's doing stuff that most people can't even do, and I don't think she even knows that she can do it. So I don't know. She has zero training, but she could sing super high and do all these crazy things. So I mean, I don't know. I'm proud. As everybody knows, I'm a singer guy, and I just wish she would get more leads in musicals, but they don't give it to her because they're jerks at school. Because we're not rich doctors, we're regular folks, so we don't get to have our kids be in the main roles. But if they actually listen to her sing, they would just be like, "Holy crap!" and they'd probably take a dump because she's so damn good. But whatever, she's about as good as Rudy Ford was on that play. And Nixon was in that play, and Gary was on that play, and the whole Packers defense in overtime on those last three plays, stopping the run on first down, stopping the run on second down, getting pressure, and stopping the pass on third down. Awesome team defense, guys playing together to get the ball back so that the Packers can go and score and win.
Do you think Clay Matthews had to announce his retirement because everybody's forgetting that he wore 52 now?
Yeah.
Because 52 is
that was kind of lame when they gave him 52 right away after. Because remember, I don't know if you remember this, but they asked Gary after he got number 52.
Yeah,
like, did you want 52 because of Clay Matthews? And he's like, oh, they just gave me the number.
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
Yeah.
I mean, not that they were going to retire it or whatever, but still, it's
still a little weird.
Yeah,
it still bothers me that Giannis is 34 too. By the way.
Yeah,
just talk about the Milwaukee Bucks because
Ray was only on the team for 6 seasons.
It doesn't seem like it because he was like the man the whole time he was there.
I know.
He's the Romeo Dobbs.
And if George Karl wasn't the coach, he probably would have been on the team for a bunch more seasons.
Yeah, he's way better than Gary Payton. That was a great trade.
Oh, freaking George Karl.
Trade our superstar, amazing 3-point shooter, dunk machine for an old crappy guy who's on his last legs and a guy who can't shoot at all. Genius move, Bucks.
And then they gave that guy the number right away. Desmond Mason was 34 right away.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's terrible.
Oh, well. So anyways, those are all the videos for today. So I guess we should probably talk about the game coming up. London.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll
So
get
get
back
ready for
into
our last segment here.
it. Yeah, we're gonna do it.
Or does anybody want to have any other talking points here between Lee and Jonathan and these guys?
Yeah, they just they like some stuff. Jonathan said really proud of Smith on the edge. Well, they kept the correct Smith.
Yes, they did.
Remember, people are freaking out. Oh, the 2-time Pro Bowler, you getting rid of him, but you're going to keep this other guy? Yeah, this other guy's a lot better and more consistent. Lee said that Lowry had a few stinkers, look kind of like Lancaster 2018, but he's doing his best, and again, he's not a guy. He's not going to be a superstar, but he can do some stuff, and he's that play you showed against a double team. I mean, that's all you can do, right?
Well, I think it's interesting because I can remember Mike Daniels talking about that, where he was like, sometimes you take a double team and your job on that play is just get one knee down in the ground and hold that double team. Make sure you do not get shoved backwards so that your linebacker can get in there and make a play. And I can remember Mike Daniels talking about that. Sometimes that's all you have to do, or that's all you can do, because you're just getting slammed by two guys and there's not much else you can do. So, but there's other plays where Dean Lowry got double teamed and then shoved back 6 yards. We talked about that already too earlier in the show. But, he's not perfect. He's not great. But when he does his job, that allows Quay Walker to be free to then get to the hole and make a tackle. Oh, don't get me started, Jonathan. You don't.
We know 34 of the pack. We were talking about the Bucks, but yeah. It's just weird to me, like, that Gary got the number, and I mean, who knows if he has a long career with the Packers, he might be the guy that maybe that number gets retired with. You never know. But those are years down the road and lots of money down the road too. Because if you're going to keep him on the team that long, it's going to cost you.
Well, that was the other thing I want to talk. That I was thinking about with the Elton Jenkins thing.
Yeah,
if we keep playing him a right tackle,
does his cost go up? Because tackles get paid more than guards.
What if he's not playing well?
You're trying to tell me it's a sneaky move by Gutekunst to bring his price down? Ooh, well, maybe that's what it is.
Who's more expensive, an all-pro guard or a below-average right tackle? I don't know.
No, that's a good question. Yeah, guards are starting to make a little more now.
They are
the really good ones. The really good ones, get paid pretty good.
So maybe Goody is a genius.
God,
he's making him play right tackle so he doesn't have to pay him as much money.
Smart. Now I get it. Okay.
And he tricked him into thinking, well, you're going to make more money if you play right tackle, except he sucks at right tackle. Well, that sucks. But I mean, he's not as good as if he was playing guard. And therefore, they'll be like, well, I mean, we got tape here showing us you're missing blocks. You can't really block that great on pass protection. And you know what I mean? I don't know. I would just play the guy where he's the best at. That's the difference between Bill Belichick, for instance, and the Packers. We talked about it last week. Bill Belichick's like, this guy's really good at this. I'm going to have him do that, and that's all he's going to do, right? And Aaron Nagler said it. Elton Jenkins looked great on run blocking, but he sucked on pass blocking. Okay, well then put him at freaking guard. Hello, McFly. If I hand in a paper in your handwriting, okay. Anyways, you're my density. I mean, my destiny. Hey, Biff, get your hands. Oh. All right.
All right. We'll be back in a second.
Tell me why must you hold me? Could I dream you?
All right. Now we take a look at the next week's game or the upcoming game. It's a different time zone. It's a different country. It's a different accent, not the Wisconsin accent. That's my biggest question. Will the Packers be understood in jolly old England, Ben?
I don't know. Who cares? They're the last team to go overseas.
It's crazy, right? They avoided it
out of
so
all
long.
the teams. Well, that's because they didn't want to have.
Well, they want to give up a home game.
The other thing was other teams didn't want to give up the Packers coming to their stadium because it sells out. So they're like, no, we want the money. So we are not going to give up that Packer game. So
they had to add a 17th game to the schedule just to get the Packers.
Yeah, and then the Packers like, fine, then now we'll go. But we need the revenue of whatever. And I'm sure they're getting some sort of revenue from this London game, I would assume. But they have to probably share it with whoever. I don't really know how it works. But But it's exciting. It's cool. I'm excited to, wake up at 8:30, watch the game at 8:30 or 8 o'clock, wake up at 8 o'clock or whatever it is. And, the pregame show will be just about the Packers because there's nothing else before that. So that'll be cool to watch the pregame show. It's only about the Packers. And get to see the sights and the sounds and a different stadium completely and see how the fans react. And, I'm sure for guys like Balaz and other people over, across in Europe and stuff, they're probably, maybe they care, maybe they don't care, but it's, and I don't know how hard it is to get over there. I know it's probably like, driving from here to, I don't know, Ohio or something. It's not that.
You got to drive on the wrong side of the road and the wrong side of the car.
Yeah, but those guys know how to do that. It's not that hard for them.
Well,
it's hard for us
okay.
because we're morons. But for them, they're used to it. They know how to do it.
Well, I think when I was in Holland, they didn't drive on the wrong side of the car or the wrong side of the road.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like England. They want to be different. That's why they that's why they didn't switch to the metric system. That's why they still went with feet. And everybody else is like, we're going to metric because it makes more sense and it works and numbers are add up correctly. And we're like, no, England, we're sticking with feet. What was that? Wasn't it like the size of some king's foot? Was the original reason why it's called a foot?
Yeah.
Screws up all the math. If you ever had to do carpentry work, and I'm crappy at math and I got to do those like super minute fractional measurements. Like that's where I always screw up my carpentry stuff. That's why I had to be a rough carpenter and not a finished carpenter because stupid feet. Metric system would have been easier. But no, jolly old England. Anyway.
I don't know. We still
wrong
go
side
by
of the car, wrong side of the road. Well, I know because the English came here. They were the ones that first did it because they wanted to get away from, all that. And start their own thing, but they kept the stupid whatever.
That's weird.
It's jolly old England, bro. Jolly old England.
I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited to see this game.
Too.
The Giants are 3-1.
Let's see.
I've seen some.
Lee
Giants
points out
games.
tailgating with coffee and breakfast instead of burgies and beers.
Wow. Well, I'm still gonna drink soda because I don't like coffee. So I'll still drink soda and I'll probably still have Doritos or something. Because I don't care what time it is. I'll eat Doritos and soda any time of the day. Sorry.
I will be having, this will be the first time I'm having my coffee during the Packer game. So that will be kind of different. Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Well, it's, let's get into the game a little bit. I mean, we saw
Giants,
3-1.
2-3.
They're not that great.
I know they're not very good.
I think I've seen all their games somehow for some reason. I don't know why, but they've always been on TV around by me for some unknown reason. And they kind of stink. Their quarterbacks both got hurt the last game. It was crazy. They were running like Wildcat with Saquon Barkley in the backfield and Daniel Jones, who hurt his foot. He couldn't like run, so he had him stand over at a wide receiver, but he just stood there for a while after Tyrod Taylor got a concussion. And because he was their backup, came in after Jones got hurt. I don't know if Jones is ready to go this week or if if Tyrod Taylor passed the concussion protocol and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, but their receivers, they signed Kenny Galladay or whatever his name is, who used to be a Lion, and from last year. And this year, the new coaching staff and him have not gotten along. Like he doesn't even get in the game. He gets all whiny and he's dropping passes left and right, and they don't even play him anymore. Like he's not even active for this week.
And they had injuries to multiple, like 3 other receivers already. Shepard had that terrible injury. My guy Shepard. Wandale got hurt.
Yep. So they're decimated at receiver. Like if anybody should get OBJ, it's the Giants should get him back because they got nobody at receiver, but they won't obviously because of the whole mess that happened with him. But that's the thing. And guess who they're in? Saquon Barkley's back and he's healthy and he looks like Saquon Barkley from 4 years ago. And it's kind of scary. And everybody's talking about the Packers' run defense, and that's what we talked about at the start of the show. And yeah, okay, we're scared about that a little bit, but that's really all they got.
Yeah.
So if we can just hone in on that and be smart and play together and maybe get some beef out there. And some people have brought up the case of a couple of years back when we played the Titans and everybody kept saying, oh, Derrick Henry's going to run all over us. And then guess what? The entire game, we played 3 defensive linemen the entire game, no matter what type of guys they put in there. They smacked them, they held up, and they did a great job. So, and then the Giants defense is not that great. They're not that fast. They're not that great at covering guys. I don't think it's going to be an issue. Yeah. So they should cream them. Let's go.
They really
let's
should.
go.
The variables are they're playing in a totally different weird time, different country, different field, all that sort of stuff. But both teams got to do it. It shouldn't matter. The Packers should win this game handily. If they don't, I think what's going to have to happen is probably you might hear something sort of like this.
So hot.
Okay. You forgot the second part of that. Want to touch the high knee? You forgot that part. So hot.
Anyway, we were talking at work today. We were talking about Bradley Whitford because a bunch of people had met him at different times and all this sort of stuff, and and he was in, of course, Billy Madison.
Yeah, his balls
star.
were weird. His balls were weird looking.
The star.
I say that on the radio, but
he was the star of Billy Madison.
Well, sort of. I watched a really cool. This is a tangent, dueling tangents. Like apparently, heads up to those guys.
Yeah.
I saw. We were watching something. I think when Mom and Dad were here visiting, and it was Bradley Whitford, and he was doing like a thing about his history of his family or whatever, and they were going through the Civil War and all this stuff, and he was going to all these different places, find out what his family did, and his great grandpa and his grandpa's brothers and all this kind of, and it was a really cool. It was like an hour long show about him going through all this stuff, and it was cool. I watched the whole thing, me and Mom and Dad, and with Bradley Whitford, and it was kind of cool. So heads up,
it was cool. Yeah, he was tracking like the.
Oh, you saw it too?
Yeah, I did. It was awesome. Yeah, very cool. Anyway, Bradley Whitford from Wisconsin. One of the Wisconsin treasures out there.
Tony Shalhoub, Wisconsin treasure.
Wisconsin treasure. Tom Wopat. What else you got?
TJ Watt.
JJ Watt had some crazy like heart thing, and then got his heart shocked back into rhythm or something, and then went and played. I don't know. It's crazy, man.
They're crazy.
And Tom Brady is probably getting a divorce. There's all the updates around the NFL as we wrap it up. Okay, so that's why he's playing so bad.
Well, yeah, anyway. He said, he's like, people, remember his press conference when they asked him why he had to take off for that whole weekend? He was like, yeah, sometimes you go through stuff and it sucks and blah, blah, blah. Well, now we know why.
Yeah.
That would suck too. Aaron Rodgers is never going to get a divorce because nobody will marry him. Oh, did I say that? Sorry.
All because Brady just never wants to retire, but it's fine. All right, whatever. His first love is football. He'll keep it that way.
Giants-Packers.
Giants-Packers final scores. Sorry we didn't cover it that well, but it's over in jolly old England, and we'll have a good time to talk about it next week. Giants-Packers, who wins, Ben?
Packers. Kick the crap out of them.
Whoop.
It's not even going to be close.
What do you got for a score?
35-10.
35-10, Green Bay Packers. That's a good score. I like it. I think I'm going to go 34-20.
Okay.
34-20. That's what I'm going to go with. So, Packers win again. They will be moving on to 4-1. They will be officially number 1 in the division because somehow the Vikings will lose or something to that effect.
And possibly number 1 in the entire NFL, in the history of the NFL. Right now, they're tied with the Bears with the most wins of all time, 785 or something like that. So if they win and the Bears lose, Packers will be number 1 alone, most wins in the history of NFL all time.
Packer outright opinions and facts here on our show. Okay, so we're going to close out here for tonight. We got any comments before we run? Oh, yeah. Lee says 31-23. I'm assuming he's saying the Packers are going to win. I'm assuming Lee, because Daniel Jones is not that good. Plus, they did say that he's probably going to be back. It's looking like he'll play.
Okay.
Yeah, looking like he'll play. Also, other reports say Aaron Rodgers wishes they had a longer trip to London.
To be staying there longer, you mean?
Yeah, he wants more time in London, apparently.
Well, yeah, he wants to party and hang out.
Maybe he'll stay for a while. I don't know. I mean,
they got to come back and play the Jets next week.
Well,
so
that's fine.
No, they can't stay there long. Get back and get to work.
No, not
he took the whole dang off season off. He took the whole off season off. Got paid $50 million a year to take the whole off season off. That's enough. It's time to work, Rodgers. You're getting paid to work.
Obviously,
you're not going to party in London.
Obviously, the Packers should always know where Saquon Barkley is when they're playing defense, and that should be their number 1 read about stopping that guy and trying to bottle him up. He's an incredible athlete, although you can tackle him. He'll go down. Just got to make sure you don't leave any big gaping holes and that you're sound in your fundamentals. So that's what you got to do. And on offense, well, let's see. Offense, what should they do, Ben, against the Giants? I mean, they should just run. Well, what did they do last week? Featured Aaron Jones. That's always smart. And then used A.J. Dillon almost as much. Pretty smart too, even though he's not quite as explosive, but he still gets the job done. So feature your running backs and throw the ball when you want to and when you can. But otherwise, hand it off. Right?
I'm telling you, man, after watching the tape back, I thought the offense was fine. They just were getting held on deep passes. It was a bunch of crap. And there you go. I do say they have way too much. I'm not a fan of the whole RPO thing where it's
I'm
like,
not either. Yeah.
Like, I'm just kind of getting, like, there was way too much of that in this game where they were
Can
like,
you
I don't know.
put yourself in the case of all the other players? Other than the quarterback and the receiver that gets it thrown to in that instance. You're the running back. It's a run call for you. You're expecting to get the ball. Offensive lineman, you're going to fire off. You want to block. And then the quarterback just is like, we'll throw it to this guy.
I understand the concept. The concept is we have an option here. We have an option here.
Right.
We have an option here on the run, on the pass, on the whatever.
I get it.
And it's fine. But the problem is you're not attacking anything in particular. You're calling a play that gives you a chance to go here, here, and here based on reading the defense. So everything is put on Aaron Rodgers' plate to make the right decision. And sometimes the option is give a pass to Robert Tonyan. He's not great with the hands, with the ball after the catch. He's great getting downfield and then making a great catch, like he showed on the touchdown, right? That's Robert Tonyan. Have him run downfield, jump up, make the catch. That's good. But this in the flat, and then he has to turn around, and then he doesn't break tackles. He usually falls down after he catches it half the time. It's not smart. Same thing with Lazard. Lazard's not great after the catch either, right? So why are they running like Romeo Doubs? Okay, he's okay doing it that way. Christian Watson, yeah, he's quick and fast. I'm okay with that. Even Randall Cobb, maybe, but he doesn't break tackles. So, but they got to stop this Robert Tonyan stuff. I mean, I love Robert Tonyan, but like, let's send him deep. Send him downfield. Let's use him properly. He's
incredible at running and catching, but not catching then running. Just like you said. I mean, that's the whole thing. Weird. So you want more air yards when you're throwing to Robert Tonyan, and you want to and then if there's nobody around him, like he can keep running. Oh hell yeah! But if you make him stop and then have to restart, forget it. It's useless.
It's not happening.
Yeah, and there's not really agility there. It's more straight line speed and running and great hands tracking the ball. Like he's probably your best guy at tracking the ball in the air and your best hands on the whole damn team. So yeah, use him right. I agree 100%. And then I mean, the only other key that I would love to see is, wisen up and changing your tune about the whole offensive line and doing what you should do. But apparently Stenovich made it clear this week. Made his point clear.
I don't agree. I don't agree.
I don't either. Especially, then he needs to change his other statement and say, we're not trying to get our best five on the field. We're playing this guy at right tackle, this guy at left tackle, and the other three guys are who they are, I guess. We'll live with the other three guys.
Yeah, it's not the best five.
Oh boy. Yeah. Well, we'll see how it works out. The Giants aren't going to test them too bad. So it should be all right. Anyway, big win for the Packers coming up. Stay good, be good. We will not be doing a show Friday night. I repeat, not be doing a show Friday night.
Nope. I have a date with Marvel Champions.
Oh.
Last week Friday, the X-Men came out, and I have not yet been able to play it. It's a nerd game. We're not doing the radio right now, right? We're just talking crap on here, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, anyways, Marvel Champions. Corey, he was on here earlier. He's probably not on anymore. He probably had to get his kids to bed and stuff. But anyways, the X-Men finally came out after like 3 years of this game being out. Like they went to like Peter Porker, Spider-Ham before they finally get to the X-Men, for God's sake. I'm like, come on, really? So now we got Colossus, Kitty Pryde, Cyclops, and Jean Grey. So that's pretty cool. And then you get to go up against villains like Sabretooth and Magneto and, stuff like that. Sentinels. blah, blah, blah. It should be cool. I haven't been able to look at it even yet because I've been working a lot and doing a bunch of stuff. So I'm looking forward to Friday. And then this weekend, maybe me and Liv's are going to play some games. If she's not hanging out with her new boyfriend that she has, that makes me scared. But that's just as
boyfriend. All right. Well, you got lots on your plate then. All right. So no show Friday night. We'll be back next week after the Packers win in London on Wednesday night for another double dip into the abyss with Hafeman Bros. All right. You guys take care of yourselves. Be good. Stay good. And as always, I don't know. As always, go Pack Go. Right? No, that's somebody else.
That's Andy Herman says that.
Well, we can say go Pack Go too. Anyway, as always, let's just win the damn game, Packers. And like Mom says, when it's 3rd and 10, throw an 11-yard pass. Would you, by the way? Why won't you throw an 11-yard pass when it's 3rd and 10? That's all Mom wants to see. See you soon.
Tell me why the unicorn, no still